nice, relaxing Sunday morning, listening to some Impalers, their 2017 LP, Cellar Dweller, Texas noisy hardcore punk. It's very American and also kind of Scandinavian inspired stuff. Really fucking just blown out enough. A real force, like one of these bands like Head Splitters and Warthog that are kind of mixing up a couple of styles. I just heard a nice fucking face-melting solo. Something that I slept on when it came out 3 years ago. Well, actually 4 now. Fuck, it's 2021. Jesus. Yeah, I remember people talking about it. I think Ross Hodo talked about it, and a couple other people, and I just completely slept on it. There was a lot of punk that I missed that year, because I was pretty wrapped up in death metal, so nice to get reacquainted with it. This update this morning will be on some stuff people sent me in the mail. VCLT, if you will. I've got 4 different lovely people that sent me some stuff that I'm going to talk about. I got a dub from Alexander. I got some of that tape trade stuff from Mario down in Costa Rica. The always lovely and wonderful Marty Ritkonen sent me some CDs. And last but not certainly least, Brandon from Wisconsin, Green Bay, sent me a whole bunch of local stuff, burned me a whole bunch of CDs and made custom covers, which I love that. I think, you know, just the art of making stuff for people and sending it through the mail is getting kind of lost, making people mixes, even burning CDs and doing your own custom artwork on them and stuff. Like, a lot of effort was put in by everybody involved, which is really nice. So first off, Alex dubbed me this Malaya Rage, Kill to Survive, which I think is the first one. I think the second one is Solitary Solitude. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. With Anvil Bitch on the flip, and he fucking drew everything out. Rise to Offend. I'll put I'm learning some new editing software, so if I can, I'll put a picture-in-picture of like the cover art for these two. Man, only in the 80s can you get away with naming a band Anvil Bitch. Where it's like innocent misogyny. Like, we thought it was about canine blacksmithing, Musically, Malaya Rage is like the cooler side of the pillow when it comes to thrash. Boston band, local boys to around here. Yeah, it kind of seems like in the same general area of sound as stuff like maybe the first Forced Entry record or Panic, thrash, but like really well produced for the time, like really clean, dry production, pretty clear vocals. Does get pretty fast some points, but like a lot of chunky mid-tempo sort of stuff. And Anvil Bitch is like straight up like great speed thrash kind of stuff with a lot of falsetto shrieking and really like fun kind of speed metal type of shit. But yeah, how many bands that had bitch in the name in the 80s? Frigid Bitch and just Bitch, like different times, man. But great little speed metal dub there from Alexander. Then I got the first round of stuff from Mario here. I decided I wasn't going to talk about all this in one update because it would be a massive undertaking, and I'm still consuming all this stuff. I got somewhere in the neighborhood of like 25 to 30 dubbed cassettes, I think, from him. And most of them have like one band on each side. Not this one, but most of them. So that's a lot to take in to actually give any sort of insight as to what the music sounds like. So I'm kind of taking my time with it. First up, the one that hit me the heaviest is Pheretrum. This band's from Uruguay. Alienated Demons. It's a full length. And it is awesome. It's great, like, Slayer, mortuary. It's like death metal by way of like real evil, like black soot tinged, like blackened kind of thrash sort of stuff. Like imagine a death metal band playing Show No Mercy, and that would probably be the closest you can get. Mortuary from Mexico is another one. Like a lot of South American stuff. And I specifically wanted to track down stuff from Uruguay because it's other than Gravestones, I didn't know any bands from that scene, and I thought that would be cool as well. I did take notes because I wanted to get all the countries right. Eclampsy is also from Uruguay. This is like really primal, brutal death metal. Really pretty heavy and guttural for the time. I think this came out in 91. This is the Without Mercy demo, but it's really fucking heavy. It's certainly a little bit on the frenetic and falling apart kind of sloppy side, but that's not without its charm. Really fucking great, just early primal raw death metal. You know, not really that sort of Black and Death sort of stuff you get from that neck of the woods either. Like, more of like they were listening to more Florida bands or something like that. But yeah, Pheretrum I like so much that I found it in a distro for $5 and decided to upgrade to a CD because it's awesome. Super good, like just satanic thrash by way of death metal or vice versa. Then we have like, this is a pro tape, an official release. This is Culto Negro. I was expecting something along the lines of more just like black metal, but this is barely black metal. It's satanic, black tinged, like straight up thrash that reminds me a lot of Destruction. Very good. Culto Negro is from Costa Rica. That's Mario's neck of the woods. Then we got Hatros from Panama. Vengeance of Evil with Mangler. Are you ready on the flip? Mangler is from Russia, so this is the one non-Central or South American band we got. Mangler is very carcass worshipping, early gore grind, just vomity kind of death metal stuff. Hatros is like a band that I feel like they're not intentionally going for the HM2 sound. They just happen to have very, very distorted guitars. The music is way more just kind of fast and loose, kind of fast, thrashy death metal. Not necessarily going for a Swedish thing, just the guitar tone's kind of close. Really good, loud, leading, distorted bass over everything, too. Yeah, really fucking feral, thrashy death metal from those guys. And then you have, see if I can pronounce this right, probably not, right? Juventud Podrida? Juventud Podrida, the 8-track promo tape. This is a crust band from Panama. Really good. I've also started to see if I can track down other stuff by them. There's a band called Hez on the flip that I haven't listened to yet. But this is fucking awesome crust. You know, it doesn't lean too far in one direction before going in another in terms of, like, the nuances within that genre. It gets almost kind of epic-y stadium crust here and there, but it's way more brutal. The vocals are these echoey, like cavernous, almost kind of death metal vocals, but over like more simplistic, you know, discharge-y kind of riffing and stuff. Super fucking heavy. One of the better and more original crust bands I've heard in a while. And this is relatively recent. I think this is 2015, if I'm not mistaken. So, awesome stuff so far from Mario. A lot more to explore. It's going to be great. Journey going through all of it. I've been listening to a lot more, but I only wanted to talk about a bit at a time, like I said. Then we got Brandon's stuff. Interesting that the stuff that he sent me from his scene, like, leaned in two polar opposite directions. He made these Dusk CDs for me. Dusk being this pretty well-known at this point cult doom death band from Wisconsin. Their EP, Withdraw, and then the full-length Majestic Thou in Ruin. These came out on Dark Symphonies. This is out of print, I think. This, I think, is still available. I should pick it up, although I did spend $100 at Dark Symphonies last time I was there, so I don't feel too terrible. But these are incredible recordings. I mean, if you're into American doom death along the lines of stuff like Morgion and Mind Rot and stuff like that, it's just got that desperate, vast soundscape. A lot of it just sounds like straight up slow death metal to me. It doesn't really strike me as doom. When I think of doom death, I tend to think of like sort of gothic-y, peaceful sort of stuff. Although the keyboards, the haunting keyboards that usually just provide atmosphere on this, when they take over the song, on a few songs a little bit further in, I'm not totally well familiar with this yet to like rattle off song titles, but I think it's like 3 or 4 songs in on the full length. When the keyboards kind of take more life in the song and sort of take it over, it's gorgeously miserable. It's great. So, we got those. Then Bleed Womb. This is mechanical death metal along the lines of Godflesh and the like, Dead World, etc. And also Crawl, which is formerly Bleed. Also very heavy mechanical death metal stuff. Very, very, very good mechanized industrial death metal shit. Then on the other side of the spectrum, the Crawl one is called Earth. The Bleed one is called Womb. Then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got Boris the Sprinkler. Now, I remember Boris the Sprinkler because Rev Norb, the singer, was a Maximum Rock and Roll columnist back in the 90s, and I used to read his columns pretty much every issue that I got. They were long, sprawling, nonsensical rants that went on for like 4 or 5 pages. I remember reading like other columnists and they'd be like half a page. His were like 4. To the point where I think MRR told him he had to restrict how much he wrote, and he just like, I think he just rage quit on them or something. I might have that totally wrong. It was a long time ago. And I always expected his band, from the description of the music that they played, kind of being along the lines of a Screeching Weasel or Vindictives, you know, the sort of leather jacket, Charles Bukowski kind of pop punk sort of stuff. And I could see where they would get along with those bands. This is Saucer to Saturn, and then another one just called Gay. Not sure where they were going with that, but again, it was the 90s. They also had a great, their other album, if I'm remembering off the top of my head right now, by the way, was called 8 Testicle Pogo Machine, which I thought was a great song title. But anyway, this is way more rock and roll. You know, I feel like it's got more of a blues-based, like, bar rock. It's still very punk and snotty, but it's not quite as, like, fast as stuff like Screeching Weasel or the Queers or the Vindictives or whatever. Great band, though. Never really got a chance to check them out until now. I think I downloaded some stuff at one point or another. Then we have like a bunch of compilations of different Wisconsin bands, ranging from all kinds of different genres there. Bleed is on this, Boris the Sprinkler, Vesicular Basalt, Standoff, Tailgate Party 2, punk rock bands from America's Dairyland. Check that out. All kinds of stuff on here. Soda Jerk, Precedent, Agent Glitter, Vanilla Jacksons, Remission, who he also made me a CD of. I have one of their LPs. Great, like, angry, kind of crusty hardcore, really fast. Time served, 95 to 98 discography. They're great, and you can find their stuff for cheap. I think I got their LP for like $3 somewhere. They're kind of a forgotten about, like, 90s crust band, and they're really good if you like stuff like Resist and stuff that wasn't totally like brutal death metal-y kind of crust, stuff that was still sort of on the hardcore and anarcho-punk tinged sort of stuff. Really good. Then finally I have some stuff from Marty. He just included a handful of CDs for me just because he's nice. I got this Kill the Client. This came out in 2008 on Willow Tip, Kleptocracy. Yeah, it's 2008 Willow Tip kind of grind. A little bit on the mechanical side, like production-wise, drums-wise and stuff. But still, musically, it's totally ferocious. Complete blast fest. These guys were from Texas, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, I took notes. Then I got a bunch of stuff by Fetid Zombie. A couple of albums and a split. This is Mark's Riddick's passion project. We got Holy Destroyer. This was like 2012 or 2013, I think. The split with Battlestorm, which has a broken case currently. And then Pleasures of the Scalpel. That came out in 2008. And this one's like very, you know, kind of like rotting death metal, sort of like a necrophagia kind of thing with a really obvious drum machine. It's okay. I do like this one quite a bit more. This, to me, this Holy Destroyer record has way more of a, like, horns up, Venom, new wave of British heavy metal tinge to its death metal. Vocals are like a higher, like, ring wraith kind of rasp. I dig that a lot. And to be honest, I did listen to this, but I don't remember exactly the nuances of it. It's solid death metal from both bands. Then you've got Broken Gravestones, a project that I had no idea existed. Let Sleeping Corpses Lie. This also late 2000s on Comatose and Sevared Records. It's guys from Gruesome Stuff Relish and Cam Lee from Death. So that's... and Massacre. That's interesting, you know. Didn't know that existed, but yeah, it's very, like, again, like rotting, shambling, mid-paced, relatively raw, kind of horror movie inspired death metal, which is fine. you know, not mad at that. Finally, one of the CDs that Marty got me, last one to talk about for the update, is the Sewer Goddess Painlust CD. Know the folks in this band? Beckwith Brothers. This is like really weird, dark, noisy, industrial stuff. These guys played in Witch Tomb, Impenitent Thief, a whole bunch of other projects. Mike was in Herodenia. Real hard-working Boston metal guys doing really fucked up, disturbing, like abrasive industrial stuff. Barely even really metal, but, you know, coming from almost sort of like, man, I don't want to talk out of my ass with industrial really, but like sort of a Swans or Controlled Bleeding kind of inspired kind of thing, but way more kind of power electronics, I guess, with it, and really, really dark themes. I saw them once in a basement, and they were quite good. That, I think, is it. Yeah, that's it for this update. Gonna get to editing this, gonna learn that PIP, you know, we're gonna do that. That'll be fun. And probably later this afternoon, I'm gonna record another one, because I want to talk about a few records from 2020 I haven't yet. That'll be that. I don't know. Have a good one. Bye.